Hello there, this is Cindy B at cindybdesigns.com, and for the entire month of August until September 1st, when you can finally purchase things out of the brand new Stampin' Up! Catalog. This thing is awesome. I love it. You're going to too, and we're going to be doing all of our projects out of this catalog. Now, the beauty about this catalog here is that at least 6 stamp sets that I counted, you can already use with the new existing dies in the annual catalog. So you're getting more bang for your buck is what it boils down to, and it's just very, very cool. Let me show you an example. Other awesome thing is that when the catalog ends on January 3rd of 2017, then they'll start hitting the clearance racks a few months later, but a good half of these stamp sets, honestly, they're year-round, and stretch them out to the next catalog since you already have the framelits to go with it. So one example is called this Jar of Hunts, and this currently goes with the jar die that we have right now, except now it's a little Halloween set. And it's adorable too. There's also another stamp set that you can do some two-step stamping with this image here. And then here's another one, Fa La 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 Friends. We have dies for this bear, and we already have dies for this, I want to call an alpaca. If it's something else, I'm sorry, but that's what it looks like to me. So they're going to take you so far. For instance, if you don't want to do bear hugs for you this holiday season, just cut your stamp so it says bear hugs, and there you go. And this can still be used as a winter card. This with the little lights, which I love, that could be used for a birthday card. This little baby bear up here, that'd be great for a newborn around the holidays. This fish is just too cute with 2 Santa hats on it. And then, of course, we have this Halloween set here. You can put anything in this jar down with this candy. You can make a pumpkin. You can put a face on it, gooey eyeballs. And there's another set, too, that also goes along with this. So this catalog is going to take you a very long way. So what we've decided to do for the month of August is to do a free online holiday catalog class for you. This is my prototype. The card that we're going to make together is going to be much better, but I had to get it on paper so I wouldn't take 6 months to film this and twice as long to edit it. But what I wanted to show you is that there is one thing that you do not get out of the annual catalog. No dies or anything. You must absolutely get this Swirly Scribbles Thinlits dies. There is a stamp set that matches it, but these dies right here, and this one nests inside the larger one, that's what we're going to use for at least 2 or 3 cards that I can think of that are going to be year-round, seasonal. This thing's pretty awesome too. There is nothing that you cannot do with a piece of paper and these dies, period. They are fabulous. So go out and grab these now. That is how I made this snowman here. So I have a large die on the bottom. You want to be real careful as far as placement. Got to overlap a little bit, but I'm going to show you how I made it. We're going to use a stamp set from last year to a Christmas one that did carry over, simply for the fact that I was too lazy to fussy cut out my scarf here. And another score that I found in my stash, when Stampin' Up! Comes out with specialized papers like the textured cardstock, keep it. I think this has been expired now for at least 7 years. I kept it and I scored grabbing that. So we're going to act like that you have never made a card in your life before, you know nothing about card making, and it might drive you nuts, but at least maybe some of the terms to our new viewers will make some sense. This card, my little sample, is an A2 side folding card. And you cut your paper 2 different ways if you want it portrait like this or landscape like that. Then again, I'm starting to kind of think I'm all wrong about that. No, I'm not. When you cut something for portrait, you can do portrait or landscape. So I have this piece of, I'm going to go traditional Christmas colors this time. I always use this guillotine, so I'm going to use it now. If you want to do top folding cards, this is 8.5 by 11.5 on the long side. I'm going to zoom out, okay, so you can see. So you want to put your 8.5 side right in your paper trimmer at 4 1/4. Give it a good slice, and then you have 2. And each one of these is going to make a card base. Then you want to grab in your scoring tool, and I'm just going to do these both at once. And then you're going to want to score right at 5 1/2. So my score line went down this way. I indented, folded it back on itself. That's how you're going to get a nice good crease without having your paper crack at the top. I did notice that the heavy Whisper White cardstock did have a tendency to do this, so be careful. And what this is going to afford you is you're going to have 2 options. I'm not one to make top folding cards a lot, just because after you load them up with embellishments, they're going to crash right on you. That looks terrible on a table or whatever. So I will go this way. So this would be a top folding vertical A2 size card. So you're going to have 4 1/4 and 5 1/2 down this way. Now if you want to do the landscape, which is the norm for me, you want to put your cardstock in at the 8 1/2, I'm sorry, at the 11 1/2 side. And then you're going to want to line that up to 5 1/2. Cut that. Hopefully nothing will fall down on the floor. And with these 2, I'm going to score them separately because I noticed the difference on the other one. And then you're going to want to go to 4 1/4 and then score it. And remember, fold them both back on themselves. And always get a really good crease with your bone folder. That also helps your card to stand up straight as well. And there you go. Now with this, you can either have your card standing up and down where it's 5 1/2 across and 4 1/4 down, or you can flip it. And this way, to me, this is more versatile, cutting at the 5 1/2 mark on every piece of paper with the 11 1/2, 8 1/2 by 11. Okay, ignore the 11 1/2, it was 11. I'm just so used to doing this, it's hard to explain. That's why I prefer to have my cardstock this way, because I can choose to do my card and have the top folding where it's like this, or turn around and make it side folding. That just gives you more options. So we're going to keep one of these because we want a side folding card. And oh only if you could see the mess around me now. Okay, so the next thing I've done is I've gone ahead, and you all know I love my blueprints. That's never going to change. I went ahead and cut another panel of old olive cardstock with Blueprints 15, and I'm going to show you how to emboss this, because Stampin' Up! No longer has, you can still purchase it online, but they just have the magnetic platform now without the tabs. But if you look, it will tell you exactly how to use everything with the magnetic platform. So what I want to do is, and this platform's just a little bit smaller than the old one, and let me grab the old one and show you. I have two die cutting machines because the couple things came out with a thin die adapter and then that precision one that we have, and if you look real close, there's definitely a size difference, and this is the one that I want. So if you want to do some embossing, you grab your Big Shot platform, and again the directions are right on top. You grab a cutting plate. I like putting my trashy one on the bottom, and then the embossing folder that we're going to use is Softly Falling, and I want the snow to come all the way down here at the bottom. And this is a 6x6, so I'm going to pull that off. Grab the Big Shot in, and then just run it right on through. Because we're going to be doing some other cutting for the intricate die cuts. And it's not a tight fit at all, which is great. And then look at that fabulous deep embossing that you get. Let me adjust my lights here. And there you go. I think that's great. So let's go ahead and get our die cutting done while we have everything out. And I'm going to toss that aside. Now, anything that has glitter, glam, whatever, I keep, expired or not. That's just, or anything that I really like. You know, it's an investment. To build my sandwich, to cut these really intricate dies here, you have your Big Shot, you have your thin die adapter, then you're going to grab your precision base plate, and everything's going to fall, because that is magnetic on top, which is great because you're kind of losing that with that thin die adapter, and you don't want to swap them. And feel free to still use parchment paper or wax paper. I still do. And these two nest, so I get more out of my cardstock. Then I'm going to grab my plate, put that right on top, and then just crank it on through. I will tell you, if you have an electronic die cutting machine, this is so much easier. So I am going to pull everything out. And there's a lot of stuff here. Now, to get all of that out, you got a couple options. I'm going to zoom in here because I can tell you that this is a spare piece, but you know what? Keep it. just want to use your pokey tool, that's okay. But you can tell what is going to be your spare pieces, and I'll let you know. If you look on the very back of this, and you see a piece like this that comes right out, that is going to be a spare piece that you don't need. Now, if you really don't want to stand here all day long with a pokey tool or anything like that, we do happen to have this handy little gadget here. And it's just a piece of foam with a brush. And you put your die cut on it like that. And then your die is supposed to just come out. And I've done this a million times before. There we go. It takes a little bit of work, but it eventually comes out. But I'm honestly going to go back to my tried and true way of just finding a spot in my die I can lift up and be real careful and just pull the whole thing out. Because this cardstock is thicker, so you can, not yank it out, but it's not super delicate. I'm just going to go ahead and leave my pieces in the die that I don't need. I just put a few holes in various spots of the die. And then that's how I grab it. Dropping it did not help. So there's my second one. And this third one has an awful lot of pieces. And since this is an online class, I'm not going to be doing a lot of editing. Like I said, just in case we have some newbies on board. So if you want one of those catalogs, they are available to you right now. The annual and then the holiday catalog. So contact your demonstrator or your favorite design team member and we'll be sure to get one out to you. You have to live in the US though. Okay, so we have, let me grab this back in and open this up. So we have all three of our dies, and this is how we're going to make our snowman. And it's going to blow your mind what else you can make out of this, because you know what? It blew mine. And that's why I thought about doing this in the first place. It's like, whoa, this is some cool stuff. So remember, I'm going in on the side. When stamping up, their folders are so deeply embossed, I don't like really using adhesive on the back because it does kind of squish it. But in this case, I'm going to. And do I need to zoom out? No, I'm doing okay so far. And I'm really bad with adhesive. Like, I use way too much, but I'm good with it. This is almost A2 size. It's like a 1/16 of an inch less. I gotta open it up because I do have a little bit of a crooked fold. So you just want to get it on there. There we go. We have our card front. Now I'm going to glue down my snowman in a very unconventional way. or else you're going to be standing there putting glue drops on the back of pieces like this, and I don't want to do that. One of your best friends in the craft room is a pair of tweezers. And I'm going to put those right up there because I know that I want this here to be up front. Your second best friend is a can of Elmer's Craft Bond Spray Adhesive Multi-Purpose Glue. This is some great stuff. So I'm going to shake it really good. You should be in a ventilated area when you do this, but I'm not. I am just going to pull my garbage can out and give it just a few quick spurts. Now, one good thing about my prototype card is I did learn what I want to do and what I don't want to do. But it's still going to get sent out. And then there, you're done. So then we want to grab the second one and do the exact same thing. And just be mindful of how you want to lay them down, where you're going to put your tweezers. Your tweezers are going to get sticky, yucky. Use the worst pair that you have. And then fill up a little bowl of really hot water. Drop in a drop or two of Goo Gone and just let them sit. Maybe grab your sponge and clean them off after they've been sitting in Goo Gone. If you have a manicure, I have gel. Wear gloves. I know by experience. Okay, so for this one, I'm going to go down a little bit more because I felt that my hat needed some more room. Now for the last one. We have a hat going over this right here. So that's what's going to go on top. And also, again, if you have gel nails and you're using this squirt glue, be careful too, because it's kind of hard to get it off. We're going to put that guy right there. Okay, so there we have the very beginning of our snowman. I think it looks pretty stinking cute.